Hello, everyone, or rather, bonjour. You all know that I am an English and Spanish teacher. However, I abandoned a popular language when I left secondary school and I am now trying to re-engage with it. Of course, I am talking about French. Today's guest has been helping me with that as he taught me French at the Alliance Française in Barbados. His name is Kore Denny. It is worth mentioning that Corey and I were colleagues at secondary school. Consequently, I invited him to share his experience as an English teacher in France because I know that the perspective he has can benefit anyone interested in travel, education, culture, and linguistics. Now let's hear this perspective. Bonjour, Corey.
Bonjour Chris.
Ça va?
Oui, ça va bien. Et toi?
Ça va bien aussi. Okay.
Très bien.
Why did you choose to pursue this experience in France?
Well, to be honest, Christopher, I've always wanted to travel to France. Um, I already like the language,
Mhm.
even from secondary school, as you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and like from first form. So I wanted to explore a bit more and get immersed in it. So I had actually applied before in 2017,
Mhm.
but I wasn't successful at the time. So I really tried to, step up my French and everything so that the next time that it came around, I was eligible to do it.
Right.
So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to pursue this opportunity.
By the way, which part of France you went to again?
So I was in a town called Clermont-Ferrand
Mhm.
or Clermont-Ferrand in English.
Okay.
Um, as in like the center of France.
Mhm.
So it's about 4 hours south of Paris by train.
Okay.
And and it's close to Lyon and Montpellier. It kind of connects the south of France and the northern part of France.
Okay. Interesting, interesting. So you talked about not being eligible before. So what was the application process like?
So usually the starting with the criteria is between I think ages 18 and 35, I believe.
Okay.
Um,
Why
and
doesn't why
usually
range?
you Well, that's the range that is provided by the Ministry of Education in France for the
Okay.
language assistance program.
Mhm.
Um, and usually you have to be engaged in some form of university degree with French, or at least languages.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, or there were other, like special criteria as well. So for me in 2017, um, though I was in the age range, I wasn't involved in any university degree. And then my French wasn't that great either to be selected.
Mhm.
So yeah, that time that's why I
When
didn't
you
get
say
through.
you're
But
French,
this,
so what was the like you had to be what a B2?
yes, B2 French was a requirement.
Okay, B2. Right.
Yeah, B2 French. So I didn't have B2 French at the time.
Mhm.
I didn't
What,
have it
what
at the time.
what was your level at the time?
I think it was A2.
A2.
It was probably A2.
Oh, oh. Interesting.
Yeah, it was probably A2.
Okay.
Yeah, so for the application process, what happens is that so French Education International or FEI,
Mhm.
when that period is coming up, they will send it out the application to their partners. So all around the world, like the US, even India, the UK, different entities that, they're native English speakers. So they, well, native language speakers, because it's also for Spanish,
Mhm,
German,
mhm. Right,
um,
right.
right? Those other languages, Italian as well.
Okay.
So Alliance Française is one of those, affiliate organizations.
Mhm.
And then they would have posted the opportunity. They would send it out by email to their members. So you actually apply through them, right? So I applied through the Alliance Française.
Right, right, right.
And once I was, so they would have passed it on, no, that application to France Education International. And once you're selected, then you receive an email, saying that you were selected. But in order to complete the process, there's this portal called Adele,
Mm-hmm.
where you complete the requisite documentation, name, telephone number, address, contact information, etc.
Yeah.
Also, you have to upload any documents that you may have. So like transcripts
Right.
or like this for me, in my case, I uploaded my Delph
See.
B2 that I had
Um,
by the time.
okay.
And as well as any other certificates that I had with language teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So I had done I had done a course in teaching English as a foreign language,
Mm-hmm. I did that as
right?
well.
So I would have, yeah,
Well, teaching English to speakers of other languages, which is slightly different but related.
yeah. Which organization you did that with?
I did through UEK, Phil.
UKville. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I had done mine online with I can't remember. Not the TEFL Academy, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually in the process of doing that now,
Right, right, right.
which is a bit more than the one that I had done previously,
Okay, okay.
right? So you were given that portal, and that's how you kind of follow the application. So after that, so the deadline is usually around the 15th of February to submit the information.
Mm-hmm.
So you get selected to apply. So there's not
Okay.
even getting selected to
Oh,
do the assistance yet.
interesting.
So after that, they review your file. And once you're selected, you'll be notified via Adele that you were selected.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also receive what you call an arrêt de nomination, which is just like a contract
Mm-hmm.
to say um, how many hours you're working, which school you're assigned to, where in France it is, or if it is in the French territory. Um, that usually comes from the rectorate of the particular region in France.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get that via email, and once you get that, then that means you can start the visa application process.
Wow. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming that
So
that's going to be pretty tedious as well, right?
yes, honestly, as looking back, no, it wasn't that bad, but in the process,
Mm-hmm.
um it was a bit tedious, and also because you aren't 100% sure yet, because you have to wait on the arrêt de nomination. And if you get that, then you're good. And then you have to see if you can get an appointment. Because imagine if this is put up to the region, right? There's
Yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
one, yeah, for the OECS, there's only one
Very, very
um
competitive,
French
right?
embassy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
only one French embassy in St. Lucia.
Right.
So you have to, and then there's a set window that you can get a date
Yeah.
for these types of visas.
Yeah. Many constraints, man.
Yeah, so I applied, I got the date, and then so I got a date for my, because what I find interesting, right? You have to complete the form online for the visa, set up the appointment online and everything, but you have to travel to St. Lucia to do like a 10-15 minute interview.
Yeah.
Then you have to come back to your country,
Well,
mail your, I send it via DHL. You send your passport via DHL
mhm.
back to St. Lucia
Wow.
for them to stamp the visa, and then they send it back to you.
What? What? And all of this, and you could potentially do all of this and still not be chosen.
Well, no, by this time you would have been
Oh,
chosen as long as you get the,
right, the
yeah,
arrest,
the
as you
the
said, right,
contract.
right.
Yeah, once you
Yeah,
get that.
yeah.
But and then like it's very rare that your visa isn't approved,
Right.
but still there's that uncertainty of will it be approved, will it not be approved, you know. And you have to already have your ticket purchased
Right. Well,
to show proof that you are going and you
right,
know
right,
that kind of thing.
right, right,
So
right.
yeah, that process was a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I could
And
imagine.
plus, yeah, I was still working at the time, so having to get time off work to travel to St. Lucia to do my interview and then come back. So I went to St. Lucia for like 2 days
Hmm.
and came back.
Hmm.
Um, so then I received my passport back at around early September
Hmm. Yeah.
because the contract starts at the beginning of October.
Right, right, right.
Right.
At
So
any
I
point
got
did you feel like I like to hell with this?
um no, because I really wanted to do it.
Okay,
Right. I
okay.
really wanted to do it. And I was trying to follow all the steps.
Hmm.
Um and I already knew what French administration was like.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I knew even though there's a lot of red tape, it is still very efficient.
Okay, okay. That's good to
Yeah,
know.
you have a lot of documents to complete, but at least you get somewhere at the end of all of these documents.
Okay. Okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
So basically, yeah, that was it. You apply through the Alliance Française, then you complete your information on Adele,
Hmm.
you get your contract,
Hmm.
um, then you um set up your appointment with the embassy,
Yeah.
the French embassy in Saint-Lucia. You go down, take the interview, you send back out your passport. Once it's stamped, then you could, you know,
Okay.
start making arrangements to pack up and leave.
All right. Very, very informative. Very informative. All right, so we're in France now, right? And we're
Hmm.
at the school, whichever school it was. So were you given a syllabus from which you needed to teach, or were you given some leeway with the lessons?
So I was never actually given a formal syllabus.
Hmm.
So how the teaching assistant role works is that, as it says, you assist
Okay, that's just
the teacher, right?
yeah.
Um, so I worked with about 6 different teachers.
Hmm.
Maybe 6 to 10 different teachers over the span of 2 terms, right?
Okay. What was the age range
And
of these students?
so I taught at a lycée,
Well, high
which
school,
is
right?
like a high school.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Um, but a lot of lycées have like what we would call a community college.
Oh,
So the community college actually part of
like
that.
a
So
sixth form.
like a sixth form, but even older.
Even older.
So
Okay, okay.
yeah. So the lycée starts at about 17,
Hmm.
about 16, 17. Yeah. And all the way to like 24.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So because there's these super what would we call it? It's called BTS, which is like a something after high school. So when you finish lycée, then you could do a BTS, but then you could
Right, right,
change
right.
schools. It's like a
Right, right.
sixth form, but more in depth than a sixth form.
Okay, okay.
Like a BCC attached to secondary school.
Hmm.
And so then you can get into these BTS classes and you could be older that you could I'm sure that there are people that were like close to 30 in these BTS programs,
Hmm.
but I just never had them in my class.
Right, right, right.
Right. So the ages that I had were between 16 and 24.
16, 20. Okay, so these are young adults, basically.
Yeah,
You say.
exactly. So the language assistant program technically is supposed to be those who are pre-bac, the baccalaureate, which is the exam, like what we call CAPE.
Yeah, okay.
So it's supposed to be before that I was teaching.
Okay.
However, a lot of the teachers that were teaching post-bac, these were students that already knew what they wanted to do and knew that English was important. So they
Yeah.
asked me to, assist. So as you can imagine, with six to then 10 different personalities
Yeah.
and teaching styles,
Yep.
yeah, there was very they so some were they had their idea of what they wanted to get done for the class.
Mm-hmm.
So they would give me specific information, but never a syllabus.
All right.
They
Okay.
would give me specific information on what they wanted to be covered.
Mm.
Um, what we're working on this week. Can you prepare,
And you
you
choose how
know,
you want to like address that.
exactly.
Okay.
So I had a lot of leeway. I had a lot of freedom to choose how I would lead the class,
Right.
what I would use.
Mm.
Um, because the main goal of the language assistant is to get the students speaking
Mm.
the language,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Okay.
So even though I had some written exercises, um, there was always an oral component
So the
involved.
the classes were mostly oral, you would say?
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Even if we had a written assignment,
Mm.
um, we would still then, speak about it orally. We would then
Okay.
go
Okay.
through the sentences, the situations. So for example, with one class, they were in the BTS for real estate agents,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they kind of specialize in that. So what this teacher would do, she would prepare scenarios with them,
Okay.
play scenarios.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, you would have the realtor, and then you would have the client. You're trying to engage. Maybe they want these specific things in the house. And then how do you negotiate the price? How do you
Nice.
describe the
Nice.
house and stuff?
Nice. Nice. Like it.
Yeah. So she would give me those scenarios beforehand to prepare, right? So for her, it was pretty, know what I was doing, straightforward. Whereas I had another class, a male teacher who he was really he was really cool. And with his class, I even did karaoke.
Whoa. 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 Nice.
Yeah. So I did it to Rihanna songs because everybody loves Rihanna.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
They know Rihanna, or should rather.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I even did karaoke with one class. But it's just to make sure that they're using the language that
Right.
they're
Right.
learning,
Right.
to hear a native speaker to get comfortable with the language. So yeah. So from that, it varied based on which teachers I had, but I never had a clear syllabus, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
But at least I knew where the teacher was going and what they wanted me to do. So that was always clear.
Okay. Nice. 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 I like that. Like that. Sort of a mix of structure and laissez-faire, if you get it.
Exactly.
It's kind of a mixture. Oh
Exactly. So I
boy.
was very happy.
All right. It sounds like you had a lot of fun.
I did. I did. We even had I used Canva a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, because I was accustomed using PowerPoint.
Right, me too.
Uh
Not I
yeah,
said was am.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like in each of my classes, the first introduction, I did a presentation on Barbados,
Nice, nice, nice.
uh, uh using PowerPoint. So just an overview of the culture and what it looks like and what we eat,
Didn't knew much
what
about
the
Barbados though.
um no, like no, like only the French who were like from Martinique and Guadeloupe.
Makes sense because Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
they knew about Barbados. But for any time I talked about Rihanna, they were like,
Right, right.
"Oh, Rihanna."
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I showed them on a map, sometimes I would ask them, like, oh, that would be my groundbreaker, what do you know about Barbados? Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
And some people, it's an island. Is it close to like Madagascar or something like that? But yeah, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I would say like 5% knew
Oh, okay.
what Barbados. Yeah,
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So now that we're in
yeah.
the classroom, right? So how often do
hmm
you use French?
Um, like 20% of the time, like I
Mm.
really tried not to use my French because,
Was there like a mandate
um, well,
or you used it like according to the situation?
the manual. so we receive a manual as assistants, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the manual is supposed to using your native language as much as possible,
Right, right.
uh, because that is what we're there for.
Of
And my teachers told me, don't let my students know that I can speak French.
that, but that's so
Yeah,
smart. That is so
yeah,
smart because that will force them to use the target language. That is so smart.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So sometimes, it was difficult, like for them understanding, like for the younger students, it was really hard for them because first of all, it's English, and second of all, my accent is an accent that they've never heard before.
Oh,
So even whatever little English they may have heard in like music or
yeah,
movies
yeah.
or whatever is so different to what they're hearing.
Mm.
So some instances with the younger students, I would use French, but like very bad French to make it seem like I don't know how to speak French so they
You
don't
did
get
it on purpose.
accustomed. Yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense.
But yeah. But I would try to like um use other words that they may know
Yeah,
or try to
synonym
act
to
so
them. Yeah.
yeah.
Right,
But
right, right.
I try to keep my French to a bare minimum in the classroom. But
Yes.
in the school,
Yeah.
speaking to staff, if
Right.
they heard me speaking French, be it. But in the classroom itself, no, I try not to.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. But that's very, very smart, man. I actually have to
Hmm.
apply that because for some reason I never thought about that. Actually making it seem like you don't know the first language. In the
Yeah.
case will be
Because
French.
they're forced to communicate,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yo,
Right.
yo. Wow. How did that fly over? How did that fly over my head? Anyways, back to that.
No problem. No,
So, which aspect or aspects of English did your students enjoy the most? And which aspect or aspects did they find the most difficult?
So what they like the most, I would say, is learning new vocabulary, right? They would be excited to use it, or like if I see them in the corridor, they would repeat the certain words that they learn to me. So vocabulary for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, I think mainly vocabulary.
Okay.
The other aspect that they liked would have been like different accents,
Mm.
like hearing in different accents. So I would try to find clips or videos of similar words and phrases, but in
Mm.
different accents.
I know.
So, like Australian accent, English accent, an American accent, just so that they could see the variables, the variances in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um, and also to help them understand that they shouldn't be afraid to speak English
Right.
because they have an accent,
Right. Yeah. Right.
because
Right. Right. Right.
there's no official
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah, technically, yeah, that's true.
Because obviously English came from England, and
Right.
even in England, they don't have one accent.
No, they don't. Not at all.
So exactly.
Accents are
So
going to
they
vary based on where you're from, actually, even
mhm,
within that particular country.
precisely. And they think that once they did that, they enjoyed trying to speak it a lot more. What they did not really enjoy was verbs
Oh, dear.
and verb tense.
So a lot of grammar
Like
stuff, no.
a lot of grammar, yeah.
Yeah.
When I found that it was easier for them to learn a set expression
Like
than
idiomatic expressions.
yeah, idiomatic expressions, or even like um if you say I went to the mall, like
Mhm.
they will learn I went to the mall and that is it. And then they wouldn't try to, if they tried to like then put it in a different tense, that's when the problems would happen.
Ah, okay.
So they would see the sentence and be like, okay, they register the sentence. But then yeah, those verb tenses were a bit difficult. Um yeah, I think that was the least, because I could see them getting frustrated sometimes.
Okay, okay.
Um yeah, I used to use these resources from, what is it called? It's like a UK website. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Mhm, mhm.
But they will have lessons based on your level, like A1, A2, and it would try to help them to get from this point to the next point. And
Okay.
so they could see them getting frustrated with the exercise.
Right.
So I would say, yeah, grammar, especially verb tenses,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that was difficult
Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine, boy. Students probably were like,
because it,
no, no, no.
yeah, yeah, that was tough, but
Yeah.
um, we got through it somehow. But again, because it isn't my primary role to
Right,
teach
right, right.
grammar,
Right, right, right.
yeah, I would then just notify their main teacher and be like, maybe they need to work on this a little bit more and things like that.
Okay. So I know you were teaching adults basically, but did you encounter any behavioral issues in the classroom? And if so, how did you resolve them?
Not often,
Right,
um, because usually I wouldn't take the full class, depend on the size of the class.
right.
So with the pre-bac students, the classes are a lot bigger, right? Close to 30 students. So I would take half and then
Yeah.
alternate with
Okay.
the teacher. So in the smaller setting, it is more manageable, and I think they, excuse me, I think they were engaged enough not to cause any trouble.
Nice.
The main issue that I had was that they just kept talking.
When you said talking,
Like
like talking in English or talking in French among themselves? What you mean?
talking in French among themselves because I don't get it. They just would not stop talking.
Oh,
The younger they were, they just kept talking, right? And to me, that was the biggest issue, but it wasn't like behavioral. But once I spoke to them, they would
right,
start
right,
talking, but
right.
then they would pick up like later. So what I try to do is I said you can speak, but you have to speak in English.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense.
You have to speak in English, or at least try to speak in English.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was a major thing. Even when I spoke to the main teachers, they were like, yeah, they don't stop talking. That's the main issue
So
that I
wait,
have with them.
so
They don't.
question. When you told them that, right? Did some of
Mhm.
them immediately shut up?
Yes,
Yeah, I can
actually.
imagine. Yep, yep, I
Yeah.
can imagine.
Yeah. They were like, well, I guess I can't talk today. But I didn't want it to seem as a punishment.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
what I heard them talking about, I would try to give them vocab or
Right, right, right.
try to gear them that way. So I try to use a lot of speaking activities with the younger classes
Mhm,
or videos or songs and that kind of stuff that will keep them engaged.
mhm.
Or even if we do a a, a written or a written exercise,
Yeah.
it would always be something that incorporated something dynamic.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of questions like what do you think about this? Does this exist in your society?
Right, right.
Um, get them thinking and talking. So there was one time where I had an older class
Mhm.
where it started on the way to the class. He got really upset with a teacher,
Okay.
and I was like,
About
yeah, this
what was the nature of this
um
frustration?
he accused me of showing favoritism. Like
Ah,
he was one of the students that was struggling in the class,
okay,
and
okay.
he accused her of, not paying attention to him, and um she shows favoritism to this set of people
Yeah.
because they do well in her class, and yeah, it was a big thing. But what we are instructed to do in those cases, because we can't discipline anybody as assistants,
Mhm.
right? So we are directed to notify our primary teacher, the teacher that we're working with,
Yeah.
and then they would notify the vice principal, and then the vice principal notify
Wow.
the principal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. If the student in the class is disruptive though, you can send them back to the main class
Yeah.
with the main teacher. Or what some teachers encourage me to do, just make a list. So actually one of the suggestions in our manual was to have like a table, and then that is like a report at the end of every class.
Mhm.
To be honest, I did it for like the first two classes,
Mhm.
but then I was like, it's a bit much because the teachers that I had, they were the English department that I was in was the coolest department I've ever worked in. Like they were so chill. so unbothered. Professional still, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was a good working environment. So we would just have discussions after class about how the attitude was. One teacher had me fill out a table about um it had attitude, participation, and some other column,
Right.
and I had to rate it and then give notes on each student that she would have sent over so
Okay.
that she would know who to send and who to rotate. So yeah, but no major behavioral issues in
Mm.
that particular lycée, I would say.
Very nice. That's good to know, man. I think that's every teacher's dream.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Mm.
But funny enough, even some of the students that you would think would give you problems,
Mhm.
um, they show a lot of progress
Ah,
and
yes.
participate is really a good thing to see.
Right,
Because
right.
sometimes these students, what I find about French people in general is that they're really shy,
Okay, interesting.
and you really have, yeah, well, I guess it's the region I was in. Parisians not scared of anything,
Mhm.
but like even if you make eye contact with someone, they could feel a bit intimidated.
Okay. And
So
this is
yeah, if
male and female.
male and female,
Okay.
like they would, because I asked a question about it specifically. I asked one of my teachers, I was like, is it normal to that people are shifting their gaze when I speak to them? They say, yeah, because we don't really talk to people and look in their eyes that often, right? They usually look away.
Mm.
But in our culture, we maintain eye
Right,
contact.
right, 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 right.
You
It
know?
will
So
almost be seen as rude or standoffish.
exactly, you always hear, look at me when they're speaking to you,
Right, exactly.
you
This
know.
is not the military.
So exactly. So that to me was interesting. So I found that sometimes some of the students that I thought were rude or might want to display certain disruptive behaviors,
Yeah.
they were just a bit timid
Okay.
or a bit shy. And so what I would try to do is just um I would say if when you're ready to participate, you can let me know. You can participate.
Okay.
And every occasion where I saw they were raising their hand a little bit, I would call on them so that they would get involved. Um, so that was another aspect. So sometimes they may look that way, but it's really just they might be a bit uncomfortable with the language
Hmm.
and want to participate. But you have to find small ways to get them involved
Yeah.
in the class.
Right, right, right. That's true. That's very true. Now we get to my favorite part, expressions. And of course, keep it PG. So
Of course.
give me some expressions that you learned while you were in France.
So I think one of my favorite expressions that I learned was avoir la flemme.
Ah, voila.
Avoir la flemme.
Yeah. What does that mean?
So avoir la flemme, it means that you can't really be bothered to
Oh,
do
okay, okay.
something.
Okay, ah, voila.
Yeah, like you would say, like this morning you have to take out the garbage, but
Uh-huh.
la flemme, you
La
just
flemme.
can't be
Okay,
bothered.
okay, okay, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that was one the students used a lot.
Oh, I can
They're like,
imagine.
oh, I was gonna do the homework, but la flemme. I was like, okay,
La flemme.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I learned the word impitoyable, which is
Incroyable.
which is ruthless.
Ruthless. Okay.
That use
Hmm.
that when you're speaking about someone, or like how we would say that body rough.
Rough, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, okay.
C'est, yeah, that person, yeah, c'est impitoyable. So I thought that was interesting.
Mais
Um,
impitoyable or impitoyable?
Pitoyable,
Oh,
like a
pitoyable.
P.
Pitoyable. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I learned to masul,
Ooh, Mosul.
which is your pissing me off.
Yeah, I figured it has something to do with that. I was going to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
you are annoying me or something like that, but
Exactly.
it sounds that
You
way.
also have, yeah, along those lines, you have um, tu me casses les pieds,
That's breaking my feet.
Hmm.
Literally, yeah, breaking my feet. So
Literally,
that's
yeah.
another way to express like
Like
that
you're
someone
annoying
is
me.
getting on your nerves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Tu m'énerves is normal.
That's a
Like,
formal expression.
yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right, right, right.
So there were a lot of expressions like that I heard, funny enough, in France. Um, there's also faire le pont.
Feel the pong, pong.
Mhm.
No idea.
So it literally means making the bridge.
Making the bridge. Oh yeah, pong.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That's true.
Yeah.
Because in Spanish it's
So
puente.
puente,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So one of the things I really love about French people is that they have mastered work-life balance.
Oh, must be nice.
Like, right, when work is finished, it's finished, bro. It is done.
Mm,
And so much so that even when it comes to the holidays, they take their holidays very seriously.
yeah.
So in May, there's say like there's like 2 or 3 bank holidays in one week.
Mm-hmm.
They just take the week. Yeah. So say
They
it
won't stay
fell,
around.
yeah, it was like I think there was a bank holiday Monday, Tuesday. No, it was work Monday, it was work Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Then there was a bank holiday Wednesday and Friday.
Mm.
But they just decided to not work the Thursday.
Wow,
So they were
wow.
like, yeah, we can just on Philippon.
Okay,
It's like,
okay.
oh, what does that mean? They was like, they might holiday here.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
work in between? Just
Yeah.
just take
Yeah. Over here, man, if there's a short week, we still have to go to work, man.
yeah. That to me, I was like, I need to employ this in my life in
Yeah, yeah,
Barbados.
yeah, yep. Makes sense. Like that.
Yeah. One other word that is a small word, but grave,
Wow.
like serious.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, use it to emphasize whatever you're speaking about. So if you want to say elle est grave belle, like
Wow, man.
she's pretty,
It's like très.
it's like try. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Uh,
Nice, nice, nice.
right.
Right.
Frérot, which is like bro.
Fair.
Frérot,
Oh,
like
fair. Ah, yeah.
yeah,
Pronunciation is
yeah.
always
So
difficult for me. Right. Okay.
yeah, so that just means bro
Well,
or mon pote, which is friend. Like you hear that a lot between these students.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Very
Yeah,
nice.
so those are a few things that yeah picked up on the PG ones
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Of course. I
those,
had to make that clear because I know French is colorful as well.
very colorful. Yes,
Yeah,
very
I
colorful.
know, man. But we will just focus on the child-friendly ones for now.
Yeah, precisely.
All right. So outside the classroom now, this is France in
Hmm.
general. How does France's cost of living compare with Barbados's?
So cost of living in France is actually very reasonable, I would say.
Right.
But let me break it down a little bit. Um, yeah, the most expensive aspect that I've seen I had to contend with is the housing.
Yeah.
Housing is the most expensive part that you will have to deal with. For me, I was fortunate enough to be lodged in the school
Okay, okay.
on the campus, actually. So because they have residences, so actually even the principal lives on the compound.
Oh,
The
that's-
receptionist, she's been living there for like 18 years.
wow. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Other members of administration live on the complex. So it's pretty normal to have members of staff on the compound.
well, I
So I
thought
had a
that
nice
was
little
only
view.
limited to students. I didn't even know the staff, there will be accommodations for staff as well. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's only in speaking to my so you're actually assigned a in French is prof référent, which is like a reference
Yeah.
teacher.
teacher. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the one, he or she, they're the one who take care of basically everything for you. You have any problems, you go to them. They're the ones who kind of like provide your timetable. They manage you while you're there. Um, so I had reached out to him before coming to France to ask about accommodation. So he's the one that mentioned, yeah, we have accommodation in the school and it's reasonable. If I would like it, it was only me, it's a studio apartment,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Really and truly in Barbados, I exist in my room and the kitchen. So
It's,
you understand. You understand.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, all right, no problem. And it was easy. And what is tedious about the housing part is that you have to have a bank account to um rent an apartment,
Okay, so you have to open one first.
right? But in order to open a bank account, you need proof of address.
What?
So let's think about this
But,
for
but
a
but you're
second.
trying to get an address. But how are you going to prove an address if you don't have one?
It's
So
the
how
biggest
did so
catch
how
22
did you
ever.
how did you get around that?
So usually what you need to have a um like a security or like a person who lives there
Okay,
to use their proof of address to open the account. Then
right.
you get your apartment. Then you take the documents to the bank and be like, hey, this is my new address.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so that's how the process works. But um fortunately what my prof référent, what he did is that he would have gotten an attestation done by the school
Yeah,
that said Kore Denny lives at this address. When I did that, he took care of all the documentation before he even got there. I came and I just signed papers and he was like, all right, you take this to the bank, you take this to this place. And yeah,
yeah.
I was
Big up,
set.
big up, big up that guy.
Yeah. He's a real one.
Yeah,
He's a real one. So yeah, so that was reasonable because I was only paying like 175 euro a month.
175 euros a month. Oh, you
Yeah.
kidding me? I wish life were that easy here.
Yeah. Compared to like the average in that area, it was starting at around 450 euro a month.
Okay,
All right. So it's a really good deal.
yeah.
Um, so that's be the expensive part. Food, like eating out is so much cheaper and there's so much more variety.
Even if you go
And
to like
even
more expensive or high-end restaurants.
mm, yes, because like a basic nice restaurant in France is like a high-end in Barbados, if you get me, because of the
Okay,
cuisine.
okay, okay. I
Because
understand.
of the cuisine. 'Cause, French cuisine is French cuisine.
Exquisite.
So exactly.
Hmm.
But you living in France, so you can find 10 restaurants doing the same kind of food. So then your rates are going to be more competitive.
Right, 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 right.
But in Barbados, when you have three French restaurants that everybody want to go to, prices can be kind of
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah, it will be.
right? So over there, you would get steak and stuff. Like, I don't want to like, I got steak for like 15, 18 euro,
Mm.
which when you multiply that, that is like well, 50 Barbados dollars.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So you get steak and the side and everything for 18 euro.
Well,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Um,
Sounds good.
yeah. And while I was overseas, I got into kebabs a lot, but not like the kebabs that you think here. The kebabs for us, for over there, is just a wrap.
It was just a wrap.
Yeah. So I would get like a wrap, fries, and a drink for like 10 euro.
Mm. You know
And
that
is like
no, it's
massive.
interesting that you say that because I had a similar experience in Madrid. You could get
Hmm.
a lot of food for very, very small price.
Yeah. Even like sushi, there's a place that you can do all you can eat. You pay one standard price.
Yeah.
you pay 16 euro, and the system works that you every 12 minutes, every 12 minutes you can order 24 items.
Nice, nice, very nice.
Yeah, so
Oh.
that was
There's
um yeah, so
a
it's really
recipe for there's a recipe for gluttony.
yeah, I mean, yeah, a bit, but after a while, because when you really sit down, because you're thinking that the sushi piece is small,
Yeah,
but obviously if you accumulating,
right,
but it's
right.
a good idea for like
Mm.
um cost of living isn't but the food isn't bad.
Oh, transportation.
Transportation it
Mhm.
is very affordable,
Okay,
right? It's very affordable. Like where I was staying, there was a tram,
okay,
right? It's two lines. So one goes to one station, the other goes to the other station.
yeah,
The entire journey runs about an hour and 10 minutes from one station to the next.
okay.
And you pay €1.50,
Not bad.
which is, yeah, it's not bad. It's about like 450 Barbados, 530 Barbados, something like
Yeah.
that. And but what's the good thing is that you can get on and get off within that hour and 10 minutes without
Mm.
having to pay again.
Pay again. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so that is and then it's free on the weekends.
Oh, nice perk, man.
Yeah, it's free on the weekends. Then other transportation like trains, um, you could get train tickets. So what I did is that I paid for a pass for the year for discounts. So I paid one amount of like 45 euro
Yeah.
for the year pass.
Right, right, right.
And I would get discounts. I could get train tickets for like under $10.
Nice, nice. Very
So
nice.
at the end of the year, I had saved like over like 300 euro based on just that 45 euro that I spent because of the amount of train tickets that I was buying and like to go to Paris, to go just next door, or just to go and see the sights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very, very affordable. Um,
Very nice.
there's also Flixbus. I don't know if you had dealt with Flixbus while you were in Madrid, because it's very
But
popular in Europe.
mm, let me see, Flixbus. I'm going to say no. I could be mistaken, but I'm going to say no.
Oh, okay. So Flixbus is a German company, I believe, but they have coaches
Mm.
all over Europe and
Well, no, no, because
it
I mostly used taxi, so
taxis. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So you it's usually low budget and these traverse all of Europe. Like you can go from country to country in a Flixbus.
Okay, okay.
So that's what I used a lot because you could get tickets for like €5 and you could go like 6 hours.
Wow, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. So when I went to Montpellier, I took a Flixbus for €5.20. The only downside is that those are like 3 a.m. bus
Oh,
rides.
we
Yeah.
graveyard shift hours.
Yeah. But honestly, like when you travel in different forms based, different from what you're accustomed to, like car and plane and that kind of stuff, you realize that it don't really matter the time. Like
Mm.
you can get back the time at some other point,
Right,
and
right, 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 right.
right. So it's really just what you're willing to pay for. So I would say it was affordable. Transportation was very affordable, and you had a wider
Yeah,
variety.
yeah, yeah. And many,
What
many
you needed.
options.
You had a lot of options. There's even BlaBlaCar.
Okay.
I don't know if you know BlaBlaCar.
Blah, blah.
Okay, so BlaBlaCar is an application where you do like carpooling,
Oh,
basically.
carpooling. Okay.
Yeah, so you download the app and you say, all right, I want to go to Lyon, and you put in your destination, and you put in where you're leaving from.
Mm-hmm.
It will show you a list of drivers who are also going in that same direction.
Nice, nice, nice.
Then you select it, and it's usually very inexpensive because all you're really paying for is like you contribute to gas basically. So
Okay.
you could get a trip for like €12. And yeah, the honestly, I was a bit skeptical at first because
Hmm.
stranger danger and all that. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
watch enough movies to know that
Yeah.
people just kidnap people.
Yep.
But they have to go, the drivers have to go through background checks.
Okay.
Um, so and then after the first two, I was like, okay, this is fine. And like people that I knew as well and that were mature people, they were like, yeah, blah blah car is fine. I take it all the time. So I was like, okay, I could get into that. So yeah, the options that you have is remarkable. I used to take a lot of, I got into biking a lot, like
Biking.
riding bicycles.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, because in where it was, the city is very is walkable and it is pedestrian friendly.
Okay.
So there's bike
Very,
lanes everywhere,
very nice.
there's pedestrian lanes everywhere, even like the principal like the center
Yeah.
called
Okay.
Jaude.
Hmm.
There's no cars allowed in the center.
Okay. Okay.
So you can walk. The only thing you have to pay attention for is the tram, which passes
Yeah.
through the center. But
Uh-huh.
otherwise, you can walk wherever you want to walk. So and ride wherever you want to ride. So
I don't think there's
yeah, there
any
was
place in Barbados that does that, right?
um I don't even know. Like even town, you have to watch out for
Yeah,
cars in
I
town.
was saying, even in very tight spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So I got into biking because there's this app called, also there's an app for literally everything, Chris. When I tell you, like, if you could think about it, there's one, and it's sometimes even things that you don't even really think would be important until you have to use it.
Yeah.
But there's an app called Velo.
Seven. Okay.
Like, yeah, Velo is a bicycle.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So basically, what you do is that you download this app, you sign up,
Hmm.
and there's these bicycle docks all throughout the city.
Yeah.
Each city has a different version. So in Paris, you would have Vélib. In like Vichy, you would have another type of service, but it's the same thing. You could rent a bicycle or a scooter or whatever.
Okay.
And so you download the app, you pay, you want a day pass, which is like €2, and you have the bike for a whole 24 hours.
Nice, nice, nice.
You could do a 7 day pass, and the 7 day pass is like €7.
Mm.
So download it, you pay for it, you scan the code on the bicycle, it releases from the dock, you get on, right wherever you gotta go. Then when you're finished, the app shows you where the closest dock is.
Yeah.
You ride, you redock it, you get a notification saying your trip has ended, and that's it.
That seems cool. That seems real, real cool. Definitely can't wait till I get down there, man. Hmm.
Yeah, man, you
I
gotta
always
try it out. I
wanted
mean,
to pick back up or get back into bike riding,
mhm.
to be fair.
Yeah, that was a good way. And everybody bikes everywhere, so it's just part of the culture. Even like businessmen,
They
like
have
men in
all
full
these suits
suits
and
and they
everything, and they're riding.
yeah, scan the barcode, pick up a bicycle and go.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. I like it. J'aime
Yeah.
ça. J'aime ça.
Yeah. Another point on the cost of living, supermarket shopping. It varies, but for me, some of the things that are essential to me, like cereal, eggs, like and fruit.
Fruits, right?
The you could get like soy milk or almond milk for €2.
Uh, and over here we pay like up to $20 for that.
Yeah, and I remember when I saw that, I was like, "Wow, I see how life can be." Um, Eggs aren't expensive. I can't remember how much I pay for eggs, but I used to buy eggs often, and you don't have to refrigerate them, which yeah, blew my mind. It was just sitting on the shelf. I was like, okay.
What? Man,
Um,
over here you must have those eggs refrigerated within at least within I think an hour or so. That's the limit.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
they go bad.
yeah. And listen, and then snacks were fairly cheap. Bottled water, you would get like a liter, bro, a liter for 99 centime, like 99 cents.
Yeah. I had that same experience in
You would get a
Madrid.
case,
You would have
you would get a case of
yeah,
liter
yeah. And over here,
for
this
like 2 euros.
bottle was about this size. You have to pay like $5 and all. No, ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Um, fruits depending on where they came from were a bit expensive.
Mhm.
So, um, because obviously France is a big place, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they don't have to import
Right,
necessarily.
right, right,
So
right.
things locally obviously avoid the import costs, so
Mm-hmm.
they'd be more affordable.
Right.
So like apples were that were grown there were pretty cheap. Oranges, but imported fruit like mango, they imported their mangoes, bananas, and plantain.
Right.
Um, yeah, I didn't buy much plantain because too expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
The
Yeah.
plantain was too expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like back home in Barbados, I get a plantain for free, brother. Like, what do you
Pretty
mean?
much, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Mangoes. I saw a mango for €5.90.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, that was pushing like almost 15 Barbados dollars for
yeah.
one single mango. Yeah. So, it varies, but
Yeah.
in France, could I afford to go to the supermarket every 3 days?
Oh,
Because yeah, they eat fresh. So
yeah.
a lot of the stuff, because they're not like pumped full of preservatives and
Yeah, yeah,
pesticides,
yeah, yeah.
they go bad more quickly than here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So my first time that I went down, I bought like a fridge full of stuff and then it went bad and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
cha.
You learned the hard way. You learned the hard way.
Yeah. So I learned quickly that you buy fresh.
Right.
So you buy what you can cook for like 2 days and then you cook and then you go and buy again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I think those were, yeah. Clothing is kind of the same
yeah.
when you convert it. It's kind of the same price. Unless you find like there's a lot more sales, I would
Mm-hmm,
say.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot more sales. And I got a hoodie for like €8.
Mm. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And this was like
Yeah.
a brand name hoodie or just a regular hoodie?
Just regular. You'll find that in France, brand name isn't as important as it is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it gets the job done, it gets the job done.
I like that mentality. That's the mentality that actually saves you money.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that was a
Yeah.
very productive discussion. And one final thing before we go. So, what advice would you give to someone who is desirous of traveling to France to teach English?
I would say, first of all, do your research. As soon as you can have a idea where you want to go. Do your research, the cost of housing, transportation, um, what the crime is like there, because, being realistic, you have to think about
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
Yeah, but do your research, make a plan. Is it that you want to just teach and then come back, or do you want to then branch out and stay there for a longer period of time? I would say budget early, right? Because with this program, you basically work the first month without, you don't get paid after the first month, you get paid in the second month. Okay. So budget at least like €1,000 to cover at least like rent, groceries, the essentials for that first month,
Mhm.
to be sure that you're good by the time you get the next salary. Explore the welfare options because you may not think about it initially, but you are an immigrant.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
like you never really think about it
yeah,
yourself being an immigrant, but you are.
yeah, you are.
But yeah, France has very good social security.
Mhm.
So explore it in the early. There's something called the CAF. Can't remember what it stands for, but you can actually, if you're making under a certain amount or depending on the type of visa that you have,
Yeah.
you can actually benefit from assistance with your rent. So you could end up paying like half
Okay.
of your rent,
Okay.
right? Um, explore the social security options. Make friends with people who know the area,
Makes sense.
you know.
Very practical.
Yeah. Make friends, yeah. Make friends with your teachers. I know to me it was very funny because I was like at school, teachers used to be weird. Like I'm really trying to know my teachers and then I end up being a teacher.
Mhm.
So yeah, make friends with your teachers. They have a lot of experience and they could guide you, with what to do, how to handle different things in the class. Immerse yourself as much as possible in the culture. Yeah. Because it's a very good opportunity to improve your French, but also to improve your knowledge of the culture.
Yes, yes.
Try different foods,
Yeah.
um, try different experiences, go to the museums,
Mm. Yeah.
go to the museums, very informative and they're not boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Most persons,
very
when they
interesting.
think about museums, they think about history and yeah, and it
Yeah. But the history is interesting
yeah,
now they think.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Different types of museums. You have museums of natural history, you have art
Art
museums,
museums, yeah.
you have yeah, you have like lake shows, you have all these different things that you have. Um, yeah. I will also give advice to travel a lot as you're in Europe and
Yeah,
travel
yeah,
is
yeah,
key
yeah. It's true. It's true. A lot of the
as you're in
countries there you can easily get from one to another.
exactly. Yeah, go to Spain, go to Portugal,
Mhm.
you know,
So take
you could
advantage
go
of
to
that.
Italy. Yeah, take advantage of the opportunity. More on the teaching side.
Mhm.
Um, just have confidence, be confident because you are a native English speaker. So you already have that over them
Yeah,
and know that you can impart that knowledge. We may not have experience in teaching, but um there's always resources
yeah.
that you can use. Speak to your teachers, they can guide you how to do it. Um, yeah, so just know that you were selected for a reason and then go ahead and teach. Building relationships is very important.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, very important. Even with your students, sometimes you may have a difficult student, but honestly, talking to them outside of
Right, right.
class, like at the cafeteria or wherever, can help you to build that relationship, and then you will see how much better class will go, um, as well. But yeah, but that would be my advice. Having a plan, doing your research, and then, executing.
Oh, that was comprehensive to say the least. Very,
Thanks,
very
Chris.
useful information. Very useful. Well, we've reached the end. I think that this was a very productive and interesting discussion. I would like to thank you for your time, and I'm sure my viewers will be very, very thankful as well. Merci beaucoup.
Thank You're welcome, Chris. Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun. And
Yes.
de rien.
Bonne journée.
Bonne journée à toi aussi.
Merci.